community. How are you? It is so great. Like every single time I come on for Growth Day coaching, it just lights my entire morning. So I hope you feel the same. I hope you're ready to dive deep. I hope you're ready to really get into, let me be honest with myself. Let me be honest with myself about how I'm feeling right now, because we're gonna get in there today. So if you're ready to get in there, go ahead and get your paper, get you a pen. You will be taking some notes because we're really gonna deep dive and set you up for a great Q4, for a great rest of your year. And first, we're gonna start off. Those of you who know me know I like to start off with spirit. So we're gonna start off with the breath. So I want you to take a moment and just close your eyes, or gaze softly at the floor. Place your right hand over your heart and your left hand over your right. Take a deep inhale into your heart space. And exhale, sigh it out. Deep inhale through your nose. And exhale, sigh it out through your mouth. This time, inhale and hold the breath. And sigh it out as slowly as you can. So grateful for this opportunity to come together, to grow together, to thrive together. We ask that our thoughts be guided, our words be guided, and our actions be guided. May they be in alignment with love consciousness. And so it is. Ashe. All right. So that's how I like to start all my meetings. And actually with my Growth Day coaches, I never started it like that. I was like, but why not? And I think because it's a different community, but I feel like I always want to be consistent and acknowledging spirit and getting us all on this vibration of presence, right? So thank you all who joined me for that breath and just centering. I want you to write down right now how you feel. This question is in my phone every single day at noon. It's two questions. The first one is, how do you feel? How do you feel right now? Do you feel excited? Do you feel sad? Do you feel tired? Do you feel drained? Do you feel anxious? I want you to write down, if you had one word to describe how you feel, what would it be? And don't take too long. Don't overthink it. I see some proud. I see some sad. Go ahead and share. I see excited, ready, tired, excitement and joy. So you see already, one thing that was put on my heart to share this morning was the reality of duality. Duality, the light and darkness in life, the fact that we're going through so much chaos in the world, but also we have an opportunity to realize, like one of my mentors says, we are the solution. Sadhguru, I just went through his inner engineering program, and I loved his concept of, what if no matter what we're going through, we realize that I, you, every single person, we are the solution. And if you approach life, the pandemic, what's going on in your family, in your relationship, being the solution, you might approach it differently. Because a lot of times we feel like we're the problem. I do too much of this. I do too much of this. I'm not doing enough of this, right? So we are the solution. And so with that, the second question that I have in my phone every day at noon, first one is, how do you feel? And the second one is, what do you need? I'm telling you, I have so many people that do this practice now, because if you're ambitious, which I know most of you are, you're ambitious, you're excited. You're like, I want to live life to the fullest. You know, we're all about Brendan's live, love, matter, right? So what do you need? Because we all need to be supported in a different way at a different time. I see guidance. I see closeness, friends. I want you to notice where you're at and what you need so that you can take these keys and apply them specifically and uniquely to your life and your lifestyle. Some people need energy. Some people need consistency. I love that. And so now that you're writing down, you're doing this self-reflection so you can take then the tips and say, okay, I'm going to use that in this way. Okay. So the number one thing, highly suggest, if you don't have a spiritual practice right now, highly suggest it. That can be meditation. It could be yoga. It could be reading a scripture or a book every morning for 10 minutes, whatever it is for you. It has nothing to do with religion. It has everything to do with calming down, going within, taking the breath like we did at the beginning of this session, and devoting some time for just silence or maybe taking some time to consume something that you find inspirational. And the key part of inspirational is in spirit. It puts you in spirit, in alignment with something that's connecting us all, connecting nature, connecting us as humans, right? So if you don't have a practice right now, and it could just be 10 minutes a day, how many people can just commit 10 minutes a day to silence or your spiritual practice of choice? So it's not just on the weekends. It's not just on Sunday, because look, I'm a Southern Baptist girl. I grew up in the South. And on Sundays, we would get down, screaming and shouting and having fun. I'm feeling in the spirit. I'm motivated for the week. Let me tell you, by the time Friday get there, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till Sunday, right? And so I've learned through my yoga practice is that I can align with spirit every single day. And I realized the power of that. Before I even start my day, I sit up in my bed and I breathe and connect, and I practice gratitude. So your spiritual practice could be just gratitude every morning. I'm going to write down 10 things that I'm grateful for. But I want you to commit right now, and I want you to write down what will be your daily spiritual practice. Or you could say, if you don't like the word spirit, you could say daily gratitude practice. Like, words are just what connects us. It doesn't define us. Only you can define, right? And so again, in the theme of duality, we all have different ways that we're going to show up in our practice. But I guarantee you, if you make at least 10 minutes, and yours could be 30 minutes or an hour, you are going to rock Q4, because you're starting in alignment with your purpose, with your truth. You're starting from a centered place versus waking up and you're on your cell phone, waking up and you're on the news. How many people cut on the news first thing in the morning? I don't even have a TV. I have a fireplace and a painting, right? So, I don't even have a choice. I could get it on my phone though. But waking up to connect and to breathe and to center is so important. So important. I'm honored to talk to you today about friendships. And today we're talking about how to establish a holistic relationship. Because a relationship, even though we have business relationship, then we have family relationship, then we have friend relationships, I do personally think establishing a holistic relationship is going to help you have a long-term healthy friendship where both people feel supported. And so the first pillar, and this is following our Get Loved Up pillars of spirituality, well-being, and entrepreneurship. So the first pillar in establishing a holistic relationship is spirituality. We all come from different cultures and backgrounds. And if you're like me, I have friends from all over the world. I don't just stick to like one specific group. I have friends in different parts of the country, different parts of the world, different nationalities, different cultures. So what do they believe in? Do they have a specific religion or spiritual practice? Or, how do they connect in that way? And I know Brendan's community and my community, we're very spiritual based communities. And so do you know the culture of how this person connects? And the reason that this is important, because sometimes we can say things and we can do things and not knowing that it's hurtful to another one based on their beliefs. So having compassion, and if you want to establish trust, just knowing what a person believes in can help you have some compassion around things that are said, especially with so many things going on around in the world. It's really important. People are breaking up and canceling people so fast, it makes your head spin, and even online. And the truth is, we just don't know what other people's preferences are. We just don't know how people were raised or how they grew up. And so if you really want to establish friendship, you have to ask questions. So what do they believe in, right? And you never know when they're like, I don't know what I believe in. Can you support me? Can you help me? And you might have been helping them with business, or you might think they have it all together, but really inside they're seeking a deeper spiritual connection. So I think that is just such a profound place to start, because I truly believe we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and we can do all kinds of things with our life. But at the end of the day, that spiritual connection will solidify a friendship, I feel, for life. So really finding out what is their spiritual affinity, what is their religion, what do they believe in, if anything, and being able to have that conversation, I think, is the grounds for a really strong friendship. And number two is, how is their wellness? A lot of times when we're hurting, like you might see someone grab their stomach every now and then, or every now and then grab their heart, or they might be complaining like, oh, I'm just having headaches, right? And you notice that they've been having migraines regularly. So noticing the signs when your friend is not okay, and they might say, oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. I just need to drink some water, or it's fine. But I was just talking to my new friend, Marie Forleo, who I've been to B school and we're working with a lot. And she shared on the Get Loved Up podcast how, it was her friend that asked her, because she kept holding her stomach, and it was her friend that kept asking her, are you okay? And then finally recommending that she go to the doctor, that she found out a health condition that she had, and how it was so integral for her to go and get checked up at that time. So you never know, if you see a friend that is hurting, headaches, clutching their stomach, clutching their heart, encourage them to go see a healthcare professional, especially at this time, because with all of the stress going on at this world, there are a lot of, like, it's not just a regular diseases people are running into right now. A lot of things are happening because of stress. And this is called unexplained illnesses. Like, the doctors don't even have names of it, but different types of stress. You all know I love the book, The Body Keeps Score. So if you haven't read that, I highly suggest reading it. But that stress can trigger things in your kidneys, things in your lungs, all over the body, depending on what. It could be family stress, it could be work stress, it could be financial stress. But stress and anxiety and mental health illnesses are at an all-time high right now. So if you find a friend or a loved one is constantly dehydrated, constantly irritated, constantly even angry, like, all of these are valid signs that they are not well. So please, please, please don't overlook it, and suggest they go see a healthcare professional, or even a therapist. And I know that can get kind of touchy. So definitely test the waters. And I think one of the questions that I like to ask before I suggest anything is, how can I support you best right now? This is the best question to ask when someone's been through trauma, when something's happened in their life. How can I best support you right now? Because you might think, oh, they want to do this, they want to do that. But just asking, how can I best support you? Because they might say, I just need some space right now. And you're coming over with movies and television, and it might cause just more of a headache, or just not feeling like they can have some time to themselves. And then if you find that, hey, they've been having this time to themselves for a whole week and a half, and you go check on them and their house is in array and they're not doing okay, that's when you want to, recommend that they see someone, or just be there for them in person. And I feel like when you ask, how can I support you? Either they're going to say they need you to be with them, or they need some space. And know that, either one of those things can change at any time. Nothing is absolute, especially when it comes to wellness, because if someone especially is experiencing mental health crisis because of the stress of the last year, or stress of transition, then their emotions can go all over the place. And as a highly sensitive, intuitive HSI, I know about your emotions. 1 minute you're at a 10, the next minute you're at a 2, and then you're back up to a 10 again. So I can definitely relate to having a breadth of emotion. And someone said, just stress. Yes, that is exactly what I say sometimes. When deeper things are happening, I'm like, oh, I'm just stressed, or I'm just a little frustrated. But then I talk to my therapist and they're like, okay, tell me about this thing. And they start digging. And next thing you know, yes, it was more than just stress. I feel unseen. I feel unheard. I feel like, like Jamie was saying, like, maybe I don't feel seen, and I'm trying so hard. I was in a relationship and the person made me feel like this big. And now I'm afraid of another relationship. So sometimes we don't know. If you're not a professional therapist, you don't know. As a friend, you don't know. And also for yourself, you don't know. So I think it's really important to ask for help and to allow help, especially at this time, especially if you feel like you're fine.
everyone, I recommend, at this time, everyone have a therapist or a counselor or a holistic health practitioner that you're talking to on a regular basis, because as a country, we've been through trauma.
We are going to talk about how it really takes self-reflection to build healthy leadership. So improve leadership through self-reflection. I'm going to take you through something today that some of you all may have heard of before and some of you haven't heard of before, and it's called our energy centers. Some call them spiritual energy centers, some call them chakras or chakras, however you pronounce it, however you want to think about it, it's there. Right? We have this gut feeling in our stomach when something isn't right. We get that lump in our throat when we want to say something, but we just can't say it. So through my studies, I've come to understand that it's our body speaking to us. And not only have I learned how to listen to this beautiful way our body communicates with us at all times, I've been able to teach others how to tap in and really self-reflect on what the body is telling us at all times and how to take that through to improve yourself and improve yourself, of course, so you can be a better leader. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and dive in and get started with what are these spiritual energy centers, or what are these energy centers all about? And I'm going to start from the bottom up. So the first energy center is the root chakra. And so the root is located at the end of your spine, and the color that's associated is red. So in my book, I talk about the chakras. You have a little chart. I have it where you can actually see the different parts and the colors. And with each one, you're going to find that there's different ways that you can improve each area. So your root is all about safety and security. Right? So the reason this is the root is because if you don't feel safe and secure, let's say if you don't have a home to go to, if you don't have the finances you need, if you don't feel safe and secure, it's going to affect every other thing in your life. And your root is all about safe and security. Your sacral is about expression. Your solar plexus is about standing in your power. Your heart is about giving and receiving love. Your throat is about speaking your truth. Your third eye or center of your forehead is about intuition. And your crown is about divine alignment. So it goes all the way up. And so I'm going to speak in detail about this, each one. I want you to take notes, but also in my book, you can actually take the quiz and see if you're overproductive in that chakra, if you're underproductive, or if you're balanced, right? And again, this is no judgment. This is a no judgment zone. It's just seeing where you are. And then I also give tips, and I'll give you some today, on what you can do to improve each area if you're not feeling like you're balanced in each area. So I'm really excited. This is like the most requested thing that I've done out of my book, and people love getting to know themselves and their body in a new way. And I think we should teach this in grade school to our children to really get to know their body. But you're learning it today, so I'm excited. So let's go back to the root. So the root, your sense of safety and security. And so I'm just going to give you a little bit from the book. When you take the quiz, some of the questions are, do I exercise regularly? Is my diet healthy and balanced most of the time? So while I'm going through this, you could just check on your page, yes or no. Do I take time to be in nature on a regular basis? Do I feel good about my body? Because sometimes that negative self-talk, that's your safety and security. Am I well organized? Sometimes we got all these ideas going, but our house is a wreck. Why is it that all of a sudden, when we organize our house, we think better, we think clear? That all has to do with your root chakra, your safety, your security. Am I focused on what I need to do? So sometimes our brain could be so scattered, we have no focus. That is in alignment with the root chakra. I'm comfortable with my level of prosperity and abundance. So no matter how much you make, some people can make millions and some can make a couple of thousand and be happy. It really is not about how much, it's if you're comfortable with where you are. Do you feel secure with the amount of money that you're making? Do you usually trust your instincts? Do you usually trust yourself? Or are you always asking, what do you think? What do you think? Are you always looking outside of yourself for the answer? Or do you trust your intuition? Are you good at taking care of details? A lot of times when we don't feel secure, we don't feel comfortable taking care of details because we don't feel safe. Do you regularly declutter? I mean, if you're like me, look, I throw things all over my house, but eventually I clean it up, right? So it's not about like not ever being messy, but do you understand the balance of having a clean and sacred home and how that helps your productivity and at the end, your leadership? So all of these have to do with root chakra. So look down. How many times did you say yes? How many times did you say no? If it was no, if you got a lot of no's, that could mean that your root is underproductive. And that a couple of these tips, which I'm going to share with you, can help get your root more productive. Now, if you had a lot of yeses, that's good. That could be your balance, and that's why there's no judgments, that's just seeing where you are. If you're always exercising, super organized, eating so healthy that, you can't ever have a French fry. I mean, and I'm not promoting French fries here, but you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we can get so strict. And that could be fear too. You could be so afraid, if I don't do things perfectly, then everything is going to go to crud. And we all know that that's not true. It takes a healthy balance. So even if you had all yeses, then you want to look and make sure that you're not overproductive and it's not to a point where it's making you uncomfortable or giving you a high level of anxiety or making your friends or family very uncomfortable. And if it is, again, no judgment, but just say like, okay, how can I allow myself a little more flexibility? So again, overproductive, underproductive, or balance. So kind of see where you are there. And now some tips to balance your root chakra. Create a clean and organized home environment. Now I'm going to tell y'all, this part of my house is clean. This part of my house is kind of messy, right? And I show people mostly this part. Again, it's all about balance. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Where can you declutter? I have a desk in my home and I'm like, I am going to spend this month decluttering this desk a little bit at a time, right? So I'm not trying to do it all in one day. And if you need help, you need to get someone to help you, you can always do that. Number 2, a tip could be spend time in a healthy environment. So whether that's going outside, whether that's maybe taking a short trip or a staycation, even a little house swap. That's a tip that got really popular within my community during the quarantine. You're in the house all the time. So within pods, they would house swap. So just going to someone else's house that maybe lives down the street, or maybe it's a house of someone in another state, or maybe even in another country, depending on what you're able to do. But can you change your environment, or can you get outside in nature? But those things really help your root, because it really challenges you. Do you feel safe in other environments that are not your own? And then movement. Exercise. We all know when we move our body, we get our heart rate up, we're going to be healthier. So do you have a regular movement practice that you like? I love yoga. I love running. You might like mountain climbing. You might like swimming or biking. So it's not a one way fits all. It's whatever way that you're going to do. People ask me, what's the best way, Koya? I say the best way is the way that you do, and I know Brendan says that all the time, like the best is the one that you actually do. So find out, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes a day, find out what form of movement. It could be Pilates, it could be yoga, it could be basketball, it could be whatever you want it to be, but something that will get your heart rate up and help the blood flow, because that helps with purification, it helps with healing, and it helps you feel strong and safe in your body.
This can be your day for personal growth. This can be that day you committed to and you remember and you go, that was the day I got myself a community. I got better coaches. I committed to making my life the absolute best that I could. This is that day. Make today your growth day. Click the button on this page and sign up right now.